Today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, we check out my X2-R Micro from DynaMount. DynaMount made quite a splash a few years ago with their original DynaMount series microbots. Let's just call them what they are. These are wonderful, time-saving microphone robots that you can remotely control and position microphones on a speaker or speakers, as you can use many of them at the same time if you so choose. This particular one that I am holding right now is the X2-R micro model. Now, before we go any further, you can consider this a sponsored video. DynaMount did ask me to show you guys the new, as it were. However, I have used DynaMount in the studio ever since the original Kickstarter. I love these things, and as usual, all thoughts and opinions are mine. Now, the X2-R Micro has a smaller footprint and therefore range of motion. This is basically 2 less inches on both the X and Y axes. Now, that's okay for someone like me who is in a tight spot as it is. My cab is in basically a coat closet next to my studio here, and that's totally fine for me, because when I am moving mics in my own situation, I am moving them, 5 or 6 inches tops. So the micro is a real problem solver for me. Now, the other thing that makes the X2-R micro model very, very cool is it has power over Ethernet. So you can control and power this unit over Ethernet. So you don't have to use the power adapter if you don't want to. How cool is that? Now, what's universal in all of the X2 Gen 2 DynaMount models is these are finer motors, which make finer movements quieter, which, when you're dealing with microphones, quiet is important. Now, in addition to all of those things, you can control the new X2 series via, like I said before, Ethernet, but also USB. You can get a little Nintendo controller and can control these directly, or control it over Wi-Fi, which is how I will be controlling mine for this video. All right, so I have the DynaMount hooked up, a second one, not this one, and I have a PRS Archon 50 fired up, plugged in, ready to go. I have Logic open. I have a pre-recorded DI that I will use as a loop to show you what the DynaMount is doing, so I don't have to play and sit in here and work the controls for the desktop DynaMount software, which is what I'm using. But I want to stress that the controlling software for the DynaMount is available for Windows, iOS, Android, Mac, all the platforms. Whatever you're on, there's DynaMount controlling software for it. My current setup is just a single DynaMount, because obviously this one is not hooked up because it's right here. And it is an X2-R Micro. I have to be aware of a few things. I currently am home. I have marked a preset called home. Now, this is because I don't want to go too far forward into the grill cloth. I am using a Neumann TLM 102, and that has a suspension basket style mount, and I am about as far forward as I can go. So that's just something I need to be aware of. That's with any microphone, but with a dynamic microphone, you can turn the microphone pretty freely, but with this particular suspension style mount, I cannot do that. Okay, I just wanted to make mention of that. So currently, we are listening to a TLM 102 on a Celestion Vintage 30. I am on the clean channel of the PRS Archon, and it sounds like this. Now, I've moved it quite a ways from where the dust cap meets the cone. It's kind of hard to hear on a clean setting, so I'm going to go ahead and do a dirty tone on the Archon, and I'm going to move this back home to where I had it, and you can hear all of the goodness moving the microphone back into position. Here we go. Now, something I can obviously do with this is move it back and forth as well, because this is the micro. This is not moving it on the Z-axis up and down, but this is moving it left and right, forward and aft, right? So I can move this back, but it's not in relation to anything. So, I mean, the sound would change. Obviously, it's going to change anytime you move the microphone, but it's not really in relation to anything. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the Sennheiser E906 microphone I have on the other speaker on my Vertical 212, which is a Celestion Greenback. And we're going to play with some phase. Going to get really nerdy in here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. This is what this is my normal go-to default setting for my microphone and for my speakers. And it sounds like this. Sounds great. I love this mic position and this combination of mics. It's just a really, really great all-around sound for just about any amplifier I have. Let's go ahead and move the microphone. First, we're going to move it out, but then we're going to move it back. And it's going to not sound great because it's going to be totally out of phase, but that's okay. I want to demonstrate what you can do with the DynaMount. Okay, so here we go. So now we're totally out of phase. Like you wouldn't want this sound, and maybe you do. And if you do, we could go ahead and save a preset by holding down on this position number 2, and let's see, out of phase. There we go. There's the out of phase preset. Now let's go home and let's listen to the dynamics and the top end come back to our guitar tone. Now, another cool use for the DynaMount is I can go ahead and flip the phase on one of these microphones, and what I'm listening, or what I am then hearing, is the differences between the two microphones. This is also helpful for phasing microphones. So I'm going to go ahead and push in the phase button on my preamp here, and then we're going to move the mic around one more time. Here we go. Really out of phase. That doesn't sound great at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go home. Sounds great. This entire process that I just showed you used to take 5-6 hours of work to do. I cannot stress that enough. That's no exaggeration. This used to be such a frustrating thing, and that is why if you ever went to any kind of recording situation where you set up mics and got everything perfect, it was like do not walk around the microphones, because if someone bumped it, if some guitar or bass player bumped the mic, you're toast. You got to do that all over again, and it'll never be the same. So this way, the DynaMount lets you just program positions that you like, sometimes positions that you don't like, and you can instantly recall them if you want. In the software, I can go ahead and add more presets to my heart's content. I want to stress that. Also, you can add multiple devices, which obviously I haven't done yet because I'm too lazy. But be that as it may, the DynaMount is a wonderful gift to all studio engineers the world over. I would link down below in the description if you'd like to know more about all things DynaMount. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you liked the video you just watched, please consider subscribing. And if you want to further support me and what I do, consider using some of the affiliate links down below in the description of this video. Go on over to Sweetwater, buy yourself something, and help me out at the same time. It's a win-win for both of us.